My name's David Bond, good morning. I represent the North West Group of Britain First. Like the rest of you, I think, I'm very concerned about my kids' future land. It's not looking good, is it? There's a certain ideology, and to all their members, we're treated like second-class citizens. I was warned about this certain ideology actually by my dad. He was a World War II veteran. There he is on the right with his short mate. Yes, he was a lovely old guy, very wise, very well very studied, and he'd read a lot of their holy writings. And also years ago, they actually used to publish Winston Churchill's works in the paper, and this really warned everybody about this certain ideology, which they don't do now. We would probably be called an Islamophobe or similar sorts of nonsense, telling us all about the slavery of this ideology. To cut a long story short, I mean, look at Paul Golding. He's been at this. He's committed to this struggle since 1999. You know, he's been thrown in jail on a premise numerous times, even like recently, even for daring to say a few naughty words to 4 now convicted paedophiles, rapists of a 16-year-old girl. I mean, they actually did him for, quote, hate speech, for daring to swear at 4 migrants and illegal and fake refugee rapists who carried a 16-year-old girl upstairs. I mean, how disgraceful is that? And the guys are in jail for, I think it's 18 years each or something. You can imagine, you know, one 16-year-old sweet young girl trapped in a room with 4 men. You can imagine what she had to go through. So basically, we need to start standing up for our culture, being proud of our history again. The history, you know, that my father fought for, and millions of others, of course. He fought with the Canadians, and so many of his Canadian volunteers who'd come all the way from Canada, shot in the head at Monte Cassino. You know, and they didn't do that. They didn't volunteer and come from Canada and the US and New Zealand and Australia just to see our spineless, corrupt politicians give it all away. Because that's basically what they've done, isn't it? They've made us second-class citizens in their own land. We're scared with these hate speech laws that Theresa May introduced. We're not even allowed to, you know, saying somebody's Christian, no problem. Saying someone's something else who follows another ideology can actually get you like put in jail or have the police knocking at your door. How ridiculous is that? I mean, where's the free speech in that? As Paul's been trying to tell us for years, I saw these, like for instance, these grooming gangs. Grooming, what a silly term. What the hell is violent sexual abuse got to do with male hairdressing, for heaven's sake? I saw these gangs operating not a mile and a half from where I'm sat here now, and it was kebab houses, you know, pizza houses, and some areas in Rotherham, I believe it was unchecked private hire taxis. It's not made up. It's not made up. They're allowed to do this in this ideology. Their writings in their holy book are absolutely horrific. They're allowed to do female genital mutilation. They're allowed to, well, to pursue us, to enslave us, to kill us. This is what this ideology really says. But none of the lefties, or Theresa May apparently, know anything about it. Fortunately, we have a Christian patriot on our side in President Trump. Because when he came out on television and said, Islam seems to hate us all over the TV networks, well, that tells you in just those few words that he understands a lot more about this ideology than any of these EU Nazis or Theresa May or these lecturers. So anyway, I'd encourage you to join. If you're worried about your kids' future and your kids' future land, I'd encourage you to join Britain First. That's why I joined. You know, I years ago, I'm ashamed to say, I was actually a member of the Labour Party. So I'm no fascist or what have you. You know, I've got kids that I'm concerned about. I've got, you know, my own town now is being invaded by these people. And as we know, they're giving preference in housing, they're giving preference in school places. My own mother-in-law now cannot get a social housing house because they've allocated about 150 houses for these migrants, for these whatever, you know, asylum seekers, fake refugees, whoever. Really, this is the case, this is true. Anyway, welcome to all the new members to North West Group, but we need more. As we know, social media wiped out Twitter, wiped out Britain First, 2.6 million likes on Facebook. We had more likes combined with the Labour Party, you know, Jeremy Corbyn and Theresa May, and they wiped it off like that. These far left Marxists in Silicon Valley took it upon themselves, the Nazis really, took it upon themselves to just wipe it out. You know, what they say counts. And Facebook now, I'll tell you from personal experience, is dominated by, you know, extreme left teachers, Antifa. There's a group on there called Report Britain First, mass reporting of Britain First, you know, and they also report Tommy and anyone else, but dares to say we should be proud of our heritage, we should be proud of our history. I mean, a lot of you guys won't know, but in the First World War alone, going back age in history, over 400,000 English people died and about 300,000 Canadians and Americans, and these far left Audi driving, you know, out of touch so-called liberals, you know, Islamo-Nazis, want you to forget about all that because it's all a religion of peace, isn't it? Even though their book's full of massacres and bloodshed and slavery, what have you. It really is a terrible, terrible book, as ex-members have said on television. So don't listen to these idiots working for the newspapers. They're all just in it for the booty, basically. The same as that old warlord many years ago. They're in it for the financial gain. All these people working for the government, like health visitors, cops, they're all on 40, 60, 100 grand a year. Journalists even more. They don't care, you know, they don't care what happens to our working class girls. They don't care about, you know, our future. They care about their future and their mortgage. They're very selfish and very facile. So listen to Paul Golding, listen to all the other guys who are getting out on the streets and telling people the truth. Telling people the truth, that we should be proud of our forefathers' sacrifice. We should be proud to call ourselves British, English, Irish, whatever. We've all shed blood for this country. Our forefathers have all shed blood and suffered terrible pain for this country. And our leaders today are just a gang of cowards. Craven cowards who won't even tell us the truth of a certain ideology. Okay, I'll sign off now. See you guys. Bye bye. Too much there. Might be usable.